Imagine having a coach that remembers everything you ever told it and then use it against you to help you gain more wealth, better relationships with others and yourself, and in general, build the better lifestyle. This is exactly what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you how I created this coach, how I created the complete workflow from scratch, step by step, and even how I created all of the prompts with my context engineering guide, which I will give you throughout this video. So with this, let's begin. So first of all, I went into N8N and I created this new workflow under my personal coaches folder. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to start with a trigger. So I'm going to come here and I will add a Telegram trigger with on message. That means that every time I'm getting a message from a Telegram chat, it will trigger this automation. The next thing I want to do is I will create a new credentials for this Telegram and I will call it like coach, and I'll call this coach Thoth because this comes from like Thoth the Atlantean. It's like an ancient wisdom type thing. So the next thing you want to do is I went into the bot father on Telegram. So you just search bot father and you just start the conversation with new bot. Then you give it a name, then you give it like a bot name, and then it will give you the actual HTTP API token here. So once you have it, you can just press on it and then paste it. And this will test in the beginning after you press save. And once you see connection tested successfully, you know that you are connected. So now that we have the trigger, the next thing we want to do is actually outside of N8N. And it's going to be using Claude. So what I'm going to do here is I want to first start planning this entire coach, right? So I gave Claude the idea of I'm reading this reality transurfing book and it's blowing my mind, like literally. And I read thousands of books in the spirituality realm and like business coaching and stuff. And this one is really blowing my mind. So when the idea came, and I came here and just told him like, okay, this is the bot I want to create on Telegram. This is the workflow and everything. And he started building the idea and I just described like using chat, like using voice, exactly what I'm trying to build here. And he started building the entire architecture for this. So the next thing I'm going to do is I already connected Claude to Airtable. So essentially he can create for me and work for me on my Airtable. So the way you are going to do this, like to connect it, is once you go to Claude, you can go to the settings. In the settings, you can go to developer. In developer, you will see edit config. Then in the config itself, you will be able to add your Airtable token. Now, if you fully want to know how to do it, I created a video about this, so I'll just like tag somewhere here in the screen. You will see now the link. You can go there, you can just connect it real quick and come back to this video to continue building with me. So the next thing I'll do is, now that I already know exactly what I want to do, I will prompt him to help me understand what is the basic base and the fields within this Airtable. So I'll just record real quick. Okay, this is great. So the next thing I want to do is I want us to work on the Airtable base. So we need to create a new base in Airtable in the personal space. And there, I want us to have the short-term and the long-term memory. Now, we already have it in the personal assistant, so you can see how we did it with the personal assistant, and then just probably duplicate the same way we did it. Can you please do it? So the idea behind it is that I already have my personal assistant and it's already exactly like the same process here connected to Telegram, and I've created like short-term memory and long-term memories for this personal assistant, and I want to do the same here. So the idea is that the agent itself, the coach itself, will be able to access the last 50 messages between us, both my message and his answer. And you can see on the screen, that's like amazing. Like the age we live in, like in the old days, I needed to go to Airtable and start building stuff, but now it's just like going, learning, creating his own, like the base for me, and I don't need to touch the screen. I can just explain to you. So we have the last 50 messages being sent all the time to the agents, and the idea behind it is that it will have consistent memory throughout the conversation with it. And then every day, every night, there will be, just like the human brain, right? There will be another workflow that analyzes the last 50 memories, and then it literally go and find what is really important to remember about me, and then it saves this as long-term memories. And then all of the long-term memories are always pushed, while only the last 50 memories are pushed. So the last 50 memories give the agent like an image. So let's say that you have talked with it about what disturbs you, some emotional stuff, some relationship stuff, some stuff you have with your business. So it will remember this in the last 50 messages. But then if you understand, the business, the person I'm working with is about XYZ, it will literally go and save it for the first time. So it will remember this all the time. So it will have this bird's eye view picture on how to actually coach you. So that's like the idea here. So we have the memories, it's creating the memories. I'll just go to see if it actually did it. So we actually went and do it in the wrong base. So I created a new base called personal coach, and now it will go and do it in my personal coach. So while he is doing this and building the Airtable, we are going to continue. So the next thing I want to create in the workflow is a switch, because I want to be able to know exactly if the information I'm getting is voice or text. This way the agent itself will be able to get both voice and text. So I'll just go real quick to the agent itself and I'll just start the conversation. I'll save this and I'll execute. So now we got the information, the bot comments, let's start. So this gives me enough information to be able to do the following. So what I want to check if there is a specific string that exists. Here it's going to be the text. So if text exists, let's call it text. And I want to add another one, and I'm going to just add this. So it's json.message.voice file ID. And if this exists, then I'm gonna call it voice. Now, if I'll send a voice message here, you will see that this is what we are actually getting. So now that I have this switch and I have text and voice, I will just create a set field and let's send it through. And I will take the information and I'll just take the text itself, and that will be the output of the text. And if it's voice, what I actually want to do for voice is I want to add a Telegram, because first I want to get the file. So this way I will be able to download it. So let's trigger real quick. This is a test, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I have the voice. And as you can see, I have the JSON message file ID. So I can just like drag and drop this one. And then I'll just pass it on. I'll connect this. So now we have the file ID. So I'll drag the file ID here and I'll execute. Wrong file ID, sorry. File unique ID in file ID. Why? Okay, all I need to do is switch to the actual right Telegram. So it's gonna be, and now it will work, perfect. So now I have the file. The next thing I'll do is I'll send an OpenAI request to transcribe a recording. I want to make sure that the input data field name is data and it's actually data. So I'll execute this and perfect. This is a test, 1, 2, 3. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to aggregate the information, and I want to take everything that is connected and create one single item. This will help me make sure that no matter from which path it came, it will always come to the aggregate and give me one item, because then I will be able to add an AI agent and give the information that comes to the AI. So it will always be data text. Perfect. So now that I have this, I change from the chat trigger to the defined below, and I'm going to add a system prompt. So let's leave it like this for a second. And the next thing I want to do is I'll go and check what is up with my tables. Perfect, he created the tables themselves. So pattern name, user ID, pattern description, energy drain, importance trigger, flow state, coaching strategy. Interesting. Personal coach memories, and then user patterns. Oh, this is cool. So he created like coach memories and user patterns to learn more about my patterns. I like it. I didn't even ask it and it came up with this. Great. Can you also create the long-term memories? So we will have those 3 tables. Okay, while he's doing it, I'm going to bring an Airtable and I'm going to search for a records. So first of all, I'm going to connect all personal bases. And if you don't know how to connect Airtable, again, it's in the video, but you can even check the link in the description. I have a free Skool community and I have all of the guides on N8N and how to connect various APIs like Airtable, OpenAI, a lot of them. So you can check the link in the description. In the community, you will find all of this in the classroom. So once you connect it, you're gonna go and choose the personal coach and then the memories themselves. Here, I'm going to leave this empty, and as we discussed, I'm just going to bring the last 50 memories, just from a perspective of being conscious of the amount of tokens that it can use with 50 memories being pushed, as well as long-term memories, as well as my message. Then what I want to do is I want to add a sort, and I want to do it by descending, and it's going to be based on the date and time. So it's going to be based on the date created. So now it should be empty, yeah. But let's add a demo memory for the sake of having one. So see, it didn't create it yet. So I'll bring the Airtable here. I'll just delete this whole table, and I will give you this entire, in the link in the description, I will give you a way to just press duplicate on this Airtable, so you don't even need to create it, but it's very cool that you can with the MCP. And if you've never done it before, it's 100 times more efficient to build like this. So as you can see, it's just building while we're talking. Let's create just a memory ID, and this will be like a test, just for the sake of seeing that it actually brings us the information. Yeah, and you can see it brought this test memory. So that's the short-term memories. And again, what I can do here is I can aggregate the memories, and you'll understand soon how. I'll just edit another aggregated single, and then I'll just duplicate this. And I'm going to do the same, just this time it's going to be the long-term memories, and I'm going to return all of them. And I'm just going to connect this here, and now I'll have all the memories as data. In the AI agent, first of all, we didn't bring any information there, but I will create user message, and that's my user message, and I'll even do it like caps. And then I will add memories, short and long term, and I will see the aggregate. So we can even give it a name, so that will be like user message, and that will be memories. And I'll go here, and I'm gonna take the data for the memories. As you can see, I got object because there are two different objects within the set, right? So there is data 0, and it will be with data 1. So the way I'm going to work on it is I'm going to write JSON in caps, and then string if-I, and I'm going to put the JSON data in bracelets. And as you can see, it just created an array of all of the information. So it's stringify the array itself, so I can see it as simple JSON. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, before we even create the prompt, is send the message back to me, right? So all of this information will go into the agent, and now we want to make sure that the agent can answer us. So I'll create another Telegram. Before the Telegram, I'll need to actually create the memory, because now we have the user input, but we also have the coach output. So I'm going to do a create a record, and again, I'm going to choose the personal bases, I'm going to choose the personal coach, I'm going to choose the coach memories, and now it's going to map this entire information. And I want to stop here for a second, because as you can see, there is a lot of different information that needs to come, like the memory type, the date created, the topics, the emotional state, which is pretty cool that it can see the emotional states, pattern detected, right? So as it comes, I see that it becomes a bit more complicated and cool, and I actually love it. So what I'll do as we work on it, I'll create another agent, and I'll explain why in a second. Because what I figured out right now is that there is one thing about helping the user, and one thing about analyzing the message to give us the emotional state and pattern detected. So those are two separated, specialized agents that we need to create. So first of all, I'll connect the brain, and lately I really love working with Gemini 2.5 Pro. Okay, let's just scroll. Okay. I get really good results, and also the context window is 1 million tokens, which is around 750,000 words. So you can send a lot of data and it will still remember. Okay, so now that we have this, we don't really need to create a memory. We are just going to start working on the prompts themselves. So I'm gonna just record so you can see how I speak with it. Okay, this sounds great. So what I figured out while I went over all of the Airtable, the fields you have created, as well as start working on the workflow itself, I figured that we need to create two different agents here. The first one is the one that takes the memories, the long-term and the short-term memories, as well as the user message, and then it analyzes this, and essentially it gives us the insights as well as the actual information for the user, so like the coaching for the user. But before we even give the coaching for the user, I came to the realization that we can create another agent that first analyzes the emotional state. Like you wrote here, and I really liked it. So there is the topics themselves, the emotional state, the pattern detected, and then what I can actually do with this is that I can literally analyze this as one agent and then push also this information to the next agent so we can have more context, and by this have a bigger picture when he's analyzing the user. So what I want to do is, in your project knowledge, you have the context engineering guide, and I want you, based on the context engineering guide, to create the first agent, the one that analyzes the user input and give us all of the information we need, like the emotional state, the pattern detected, the topics within this. So that will be the first agent I want to create. Can you use the guide to create this first, the prompt for this agent? Okay, so now it's going to literally take the actual guideline. And this is something I have created with trial and error for the past like years probably. And it's a complete guide on how to create. It's like a 7-layer context framework for prompts, to essentially give the agent itself a lot of context. So it's painting the image that the agent have in his mind of what he can see and in which environment he can operate, in which space, in which dimensions he can operate. So I'll go back here. I don't know if it stopped the prompt, but I'll give you a link in the description so you can literally go and use this context guide yourself. You can plug it into a ChatGPT projects, Claude projects, or just use it whenever you want, like a file that you can send. So we have the role itself, we have the background, we have the task, we have the methodology, we have the output format, we have examples, we have the reasoning context, we have constraints. So I'm just gonna copy all of this, and this is how I work. I'm not going to read this, I'm going to literally let it work, and after I'm gonna feel how it did the work and then give it feedback to build the better prompt. So now that we have this, I just pasted this entire prompt in the system message. So we have the system message here, and this will be the psychological pattern analyst. Cool. And great, so now we need to create the actual transurfing, like reality transurfing coach. Same with the context engineering guide. And remember what input he gets. So he gets the user input, he gets the memories, as well as the psychological pattern analyst output. So let's create the complete system prompt. Okay, perfect. So while he's creating the prompt, I'll go back and I'm going to take the user message and the memories, and I'll just copy this. I'm thinking if like we should keep the memories. For now, I'll just keep it and see how it works with the data. I duplicate it, so I already have it. The only thing, and you will understand why, is that it's not going to be direct connected here. So I can even do something else, and I don't have to. Okay, so let's see when it finalizes the prompt here. Perfect. Needless to say that if you want to download the complete like workflow, the complete JSON workflow, I'll link the Vibe Marketing OS community in the description below. You can just go there. I'll upload the video with the workflow so you can download it there. if you don't want to create it yourself. So of course you will be able to just download this. Okay, so now we have both of the prompts, and this is like the, I'm gonna call it reality transfer. Perfect. Okay, now we have this. Let's tidy up. Man, I hate how it's tidying things up. It's like, it's ugly as hell. Let's keep it like I want it. Okay, perfect. Move it here. Perfect. Okay, let's save it. Let's make it active. You know what? Let's keep it inactive for now. And then I'm gonna just execute workflow. And I'm going to go to Telegram. And I'm going to, so lately I have been having this feeling that I'm not enough and I can always do more. So I'm doing a lot of stuff. Like I created this amazing machine that creates LinkedIn content on autopilot and go and build my LinkedIn. And then it became like an Instagram machine that can also create Instagram stuff. And now I'm recording YouTube videos every week, but I'm always feeling that I'm not enough. And I don't want to feel that I all the time need to do more. I love doing more and I love creating stuff and providing value to other people, but it comes from a place where I feel that I'm not enough. So how can I work with this? The real deal, man. Okay, so I'll just send them this. That was so fast. I didn't even manage to move here, but I do see that it didn't. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna go to the trigger and I'm gonna pin the data. So from now on, we're gonna work with this all the time. And I'm going to aggregate also those two fields. So this will make it all the time push all of them here. And now this won't be viable. So I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna turn this on. This will make sure that both path, both the user one and the memories are coming in. So now I have those as two items, which I don't want to have two items. So again, I'm gonna execute the workflow. And why didn't took the memories in? Okay, another idea is let's merge them together and then aggregate. Save, let's execute. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna pause for a second because now it's gonna be nested differently. So I'm gonna take the message itself. I see that the memories are still working as before. Perfect. So now I have memories. I see that it's already there because now it takes the message. So like the memories are going to be this one. And again, I'm gonna just delete this and I'm gonna take data one. So now I know that it's always going to be data zero message text going to be the actual text, and then the JSON data one gonna always be the memories. So now I have these memories and I don't want this to be disrupted by this data. So I'm gonna go to here and I'm going to just delete this record. And now let's execute this. And okay, let's see what we get. That's the first step, right? Okay, so now it didn't send the data. Because we didn't have any memories, right? So like now it just figured out there is nothing to bring. What I can do is always output data. This way I know that I will always have stuff coming in. I'll stop here and I'm going to see, okay, so we got this JSON information out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the reality here and I'm going to go back and just take back the information, right? Because now I don't have it here. So I'm going to put the last aggregate I used, which is this one. So I'll call it connected info. And I'm going to take from connected info the text, which is the actual text the user sent. And then I'm going to, usually I will have this. So I'm going to literally said I won't have it like this, but I can just, so the way it works is, so I'm gonna paste it here. It's not gonna work because it's undefined, but as you can see, there is a pattern, right? So I'm literally going to create this dot item dot, and I'm going to paste this here. And now it's going to be the connected info, right? Item JSON data one, and I'm not gonna have it. So just for the sake of having it, I want to execute the workflow again. So it will bring this information. Again, it doesn't have it. So let's do something else. Yeah, it has it. So it's data, but let's just keep for a second the test one. So it won't really give a lot of information to it, but at least I know that now I have it, and I'm gonna push it in. So both of them works. And then even here, once it's completed, we want to check that both of them works, as well as, so now we are also going to have, I'm gonna stop for a second, because now we also have the psychological pattern analyst, and it's gonna be this output. So I'm gonna map it here, and now I give it everything, including this. So let's see the answer. So state anxious, wary, intensity 7, confidence high. So probably the level of confidence of the AI in this emotional state. Topics is self-worth, productivity, and personal growth. Pattern detected, using external achievement to fix an internal feeling of inadequacy. Amazing. Repetitive worry, the user is in a self-perpetuating loop. The feeling of not being enough triggers a burst of productive activity, but the resulting achievement do not resolve the core feeling. Importance level 9, the concept of being enough. This is not about a specific project success, but about a fundamental sense of personal value. Drains the constant internal pressure. Man, that's amazing. Gains the act of creating things and proving value. So imagine that now this is being saved, and then again and again, it can start seeing all of those different patterns that I have. This one literally going to, okay, it will do it again, but this one will literally going to do all of the reality, the coaching itself. So this is what I will provide the user itself, while this will be saved in the memory for future reference. So like I'm building this coach memory while I'm coaching me on top of me. See my patterns, learn more about me from my words. Man, I just love this. Okay, that's not the response I wanted to get. It's good to connect with you. How are things flowing in your world today? I'm here to listen, whatever is in your mind, big or small, no pressure at all. Just a quiet space. So it's either that he didn't get the message. Yeah, okay, so this is what happened. He didn't get the messages. So let's do something else. Let's go again. So why is this empty? It's the second time it went empty because of what? Okay, this came here. The merge didn't work. Okay, let's do something else. Okay, so I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to aggregate this. I'm going to aggregate this. So it will take all of the long term, all of the short term, and I'm going to call this short term memories, and I'm going to call this long-term memory. So now all of the short-term are here, all of the long-term are here, and I'm going to append 3 of them, and I'm going to combine now those 3. And now I'm going to have everything comes here, and I'm going to aggregate this. So now I have message, short-term memories. Why we didn't get the long one? This is a long-term memory. It was aggregated here, and when it was combined, it created 2 items. Okay, this will be solved once we execute. So let's execute for a second. Perfect, let's stop. We have 3 items, perfect. And now we are going to do the following. So we have the text, and that's like short-term memories. So we are going to split this thing, and we are going to have long-term memories, short-term memories. Okay, I love it. It's like stuff happens and we learn how to fix them. So on the go. So that's going to be like same. As you can see, it's just data 2. So I'm going to take data 2, and that becomes the long-term memories. And now I think we got this, right? We push this here. I'm going to take this. Now we're going to do the same thing. So first I'm going to use this to analyze. So now we have everything to analyze. Let it work. Okay, so we got this. Now I'm going to go to the schema, and I'm going to go again, connected info. So user message is this, will always stay this. Long-term memories are data 1, and this is like short-term, and this is long. So long, short, and then we're gonna stringify, and then I'm going to give the output of the psychological pattern analyst, and now we have all of it. Execute. Let's see what we get. Okay, so analyzing this, first of all, we have the first record we need to create, and it's not about the memories, it's going to be about the user patterns that we didn't even done this. So that's like, from my perspective, another agent. this will be like, maybe this will be a different workflow because like the patterns themselves can only be seen throughout like lots of messages versus one. Let's keep it without the patterns right now. I'll just save the memories. And I hear it's amazing how much you're creating, and yet that nagging feeling of not enough still shows up. It's like you're running a marathon, but the finish line keeps moving. What if your value wasn't something you had to build with all these projects? What if it's just there, steady and quiet, underneath all the doing? Here's a tiny experiment. For your very next project today, do it for just the fun of it. Before you start, take one deep breath and tell yourself, this one is just for play. Let its only job be a feel good to create, not to prove you're enough. See what it feels like to create from a place of fullness, not a place of lack. That's cool. This is like what I do here. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so assistant's response, this is what they say. Now I'm going to go to connected info. I'm going to take my message. This is the user one. Memory ID. Okay, so what I'm going to do with the memory ID here is, so I can literally connect the message ID, which means that every single time it's gonna be just growing up, and that will start from 4, which I don't really care. Because like the next message ID will be 5, the next one 6, the next one 7, the next one 8. So it's gonna save the memory ID as, and it's just gonna use this Instagram. Now let's see if from this psychological pattern, we have the information. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to create a code node here, and I'm actually going to create a code node here, or I'm just gonna do this. And yeah, okay, so I'm going to take this. Okay, I get this information from the psychological analyst, and I need a code node that analyze this and provide me that, take this and provide me a clean fields that I can map for air. So I don't know how to write code, but Claude does. So I just need to describe what I need, and he will be able to write the code. So this is exactly what I did here. Let it create the code for us. Let's see that it works well. Cool. Now we have it. Let's go back to the workflow and let's paste it here. Execute. Perfect. Let's connect it. Because it's going to be one time here, one time here, we need to aggregate. So essentially I aggregate because if not, again, it will bring one of the items to Airtable, but I want to bring both of them. I could use, just for your knowledge of how it works, I could come here and tell it like require specific output format, but then sometimes it doesn't use the format, so it sends another API call and then another one because you will probably gonna use the retrial and fail. And then I'm wasting money because I'm sending this system message with all of this information 3 times, and it can still fail after 3 times versus, okay, gave me the JSON. I told him in the output, it's gonna give me the JSON. It's not gonna structure it. So I'm gonna take this, break this down with the code, and I'm gonna get much more persistent results. So again, it gave me like 2 of them. Dude, let's stop here. Now let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to add a merge. So it's not going to run this twice. Then again, aggregate. So I have this one item. Okay, so now assistant response is now here. So I'm gonna map this back to assistant response from the reality transurfing. Then I'm gonna see what I have. Key insight, memory type gonna be short one. Date created. So what I'm gonna do here, instead of giving it the date, I'm literally going to go back to Airtable. And in the coach memories, I'm going to go to date created and edit this and do default to current date. So it's gonna automatically create with the right date. Then topics. So let's see, topics. So let's see if it's cool that it gets an array. Emotional state. So this is, I'm gonna use the primary. And then, so what I'm gonna do is this, because like whenever there is this drop down menu, and if it's not one of those, it's gonna just stop. So I'm gonna go back and change the emotional state from like all of this to text, right? So whatever it comes, and then I can literally put like primary, and then the secondary gonna be this. Cool. Pattern detected. Perfect. Less analyzed. I don't care right now. RT user patterns. This is long-term, and RT long-term memories. This is probably gonna be the relationship between stuff. Yeah, so it's like connection to like the pattern and connection to long. I'm not gonna touch it, and I'm gonna go back. And okay, so now I literally saved a memory. I'm gonna, okay, because we moved this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the following. So emotional state, right? So I'm gonna remove it and then edit again. And let's see, it still gets this. So I need to refresh this. So I'm gonna, man, why it doesn't just refresh? Okay, so I'm just gonna go out, refresh. Now emotional state, expression, perfect, execute step, and then insufficient permission to create new selected option, productivity. So this is topics. So let's go back to topics, edit. Okay, so again, same thing, right? Like long text. This is exactly what I didn't want to happen, and I catched it there. So I'm gonna go out again, go in again, map again, and execute. You requested as invalid, cannot parse. Let's see if I can cast this. Okay, perfect. So now I have all of this. Let's see how it looks here. So I can delete the ones before. And yeah, so I have this, I have the topics, I have everything. It's created, it's a short term, and I have the memory ID. So we have our first memory. Now I just want to talk back with the user. So I'm gonna put a Telegram and I'm gonna send a text message. So I'm gonna choose the right one, which is Toth. Where are you, Coach Toth? It's gonna be chat ID. So to get the chat ID, I'm just gonna go back to the Telegram trigger, and I have the chat ID here. So this is chat ID, so I'm gonna paste this. And then the text going to be the actual, I can just take it from user message, sorry, from assistant response here. And I have this. And I'm gonna do the append NA10 because I don't want it to be on every single message. Execute step, and let's go here. Let's go here. Okay, and then we have our first response. So now it works. The next steps would literally be starting to work with it and then optimizing the prompts themselves to get better results. So this is like the first thing. The next thing I want to do is I want to, inside here, I want to create another workflow. And it's going to be a scheduled trigger. And that's going to be like, okay, every day at midnight, you know what, let's do this. So every day at, let's say 7:30 a.m., which I'm already wide awake with 2 kids, I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to push this and I'm going to go and grab the memories, okay? And then I'm going to take this and this one I'm going to change to 2. So now I'm just going to take memories, no user input, same stuff, and I'm just going to connect it to the same model. I know it looks a bit weird, but I don't care. At least this is what I'm telling to myself. Okay, cool. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create an agent that every day at 7:30 gonna grab all of my best memories and give me like a morning boost, right? So let's create this agent. Okay, the next agent I want to create is the one that every day on 7:30 a.m. going to go and grab all of my memories and I'm gonna push it to this agent. Like he will get all of the memories, the long term and the short term. So he will set me up to the day. What do I need to hear today based on everything I've been telling him that I'm experiencing in the last couple of days? Use the context to create the prompt. So let it run. It will create for us the prompt. While it's doing this, I'm gonna create another workflow here. And this one is going to be memories short to long. So same thing, I'm going to create a scheduled trigger every day at midnight that is going to, and I don't even need to go and just copy paste stuff. So I know that this is like short memories, right? So let's leave long for now. Actually, let's take both of them. It's gonna be like the same and I'll explain. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna copy this. Perfect. So I'm gonna get short-term memories, long-term memories, and then I'm going to need another AI, short to learn long, and I'm going to add the Gemini here and scroll down 2.5. Nope. Yes. Okay. So the goal of this agent will be to take the long-term memories and the short-term memories and see if he can find new long-term memories, right? So essentially here, he doesn't need to take all the 50, because if he's doing it every day, let's say that you are talking with this coach for like 25 messages a day, which is a lot, but if you took more, you can put 100, I don't care, whatever you want. And then we are removing the user message. We're gonna keep the memories, right? It's gonna be, we will see if it's the same, probably maybe it will change because now it will be like data 0 and 1, but let's see. And it's gonna work. I'm like literally showing you how I'm working, multitasking, thinking on the big picture and creating the prompts while I'm working on both of those things. So the next thing will be, okay, great. So the next agent will be the one that takes the short-term memories and then analyze them every single day at midnight and find out which ones should be the long-term memories. So like long-term memory from my perspective, it's like from a psychological perspective, imagine that those are like subconscious type thoughts. It's the things that like the person itself actually believe in, right? It's when we find a belief, when we find general information like the user have this and this business, or his business is about this, or he's married with 2 kids, like the things that we need to grab and learn, so we are able to build more and more context and picture for the agents later on from a long-term perspective. Because if we think about a short-term perspective, maybe in the last 50 messages he didn't tell us that he's married, but if we know it from a long-term perspective, we can understand his life better. So I want to make sure that we think about this and create the prompt with the context engineering guide. Okay, so this is there. I'm gonna take this. I'm going to go back here, and this will be the morning boost. And I'm gonna paste it here. Let's clean this. Good morning, name if available. Cool. And instead of good morning name, I will give it my name. So my name is Yosef originally, and but I'm calling myself Sefy, but my good friend's family called me Yosef. So cool, now it has my name. Perfect. So let's just bring this for a second. Nice. Let's see. So we don't have user message anymore. We have memories and we have the shirt. Come on. Okay. So short-term memories, I'm gonna literally take this and we can even do like data 0. Okay, and long-term memories, yeah, it's gonna be 1. This is what I changed there, right? Perfect. Long-term, short-term, boom. Now this one is going to analyze them, and then I don't want him to create any message. I'm going to duplicate the send text message here. And the only thing is that we don't have the chat ID. So what I'm going to do here is just copy this chat ID, right? I already have it in the message there. So I'm gonna paste it here. And it's not gonna be assistant response. You're gonna just run it. And of course, if you want, you can go and edit the way it talks to you. Like, I love the coach to talk with me without BS, like super on point. For example, that's not for me, right? After the video, I'm gonna fully edit this, and I'm going to take the text and let's execute to see that we got the message. Okay, good morning. I noticed an incredible creative engine you have. You are building these amazing machines and putting so much out. Remember the feeling when you were deep in the process of building the focus, the flow, the satisfaction? The beautiful things you are building don't have to be evidence to prove your value. What if they are simply an expression? I'm really interested to see when it's not just one memory, but like 50 memories of different things like that. This is when it becomes really powerful. Okay, so now we have this, we have the morning, it saves. I can literally make it active. So I can start talking with this after this recording. And I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna go back to Claude. If this is a long one, okay. Now let's do this. Psychological archaeologist, context, core beliefs, task, methodology, okay, the output, memory, title. Okay, so he knows what he needs to get, right? Okay, cool. So let's do execute step. And while he's doing it, I'm going to make another Airtable and create a record because like we need to save the long-term memories. So I'm going to go to the long-term memory one and let's wait for his answer. And of course, like you can, like you saw, I didn't put much thought into it right now. You can literally go back and start analyzing, like, just ask yourself, like, why do I need this field? Why do I need this field? Why do I need this field? And then use this. So again, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna grab the output, gonna go to JSON, copy, come here. Please create the code node that map this to a table. And then after we have this, just for your like knowledge, so essentially the last agent I would build, I won't do it now because the video is already too long from my perspective, but like the next agent I would build will be the one that like, it's like this, it takes the short-term, long-term memories and it's just like finding patterns. So we can literally use this from short-term to long-term and then use the same workflow, maybe just like we did before, add another like agent here, which is, so just for the sake of the example, I'll create this. He's the analyzer of patterns. We had the merge here. We append them. We combined them, and then we aggregate those into all items. And then we are going to create the record itself, and that will be like one. And I'm probably gonna put an if here. So if there is something that came, if it's not empty, then create the pattern. If not, don't create the pattern. So like I'm not gonna do it now because I just want to make sure that we get the output and everything works. For the long-term one, Claude, perfect. Let's copy this, nice, and paste it in a file output format. And output JSON. Okay, I'm gonna just copy this, paste it. Just remember that Claude is an overthinker, like the user ID. We don't need a user ID, it's just me, dude. If it was like an application, like a microsas, then yeah, for sure, like from a microsas perspective, that would be cool, but it's not. Okay, so we have 4 different items. That means 4 different long-term memories from one memory title, core insight, user ID, default user, I don't care, I can just remove this. Context, how to apply, I can map the date created, I'm okay with this. Importance level, memory category, and do related patterns. That will be like probably in source message. Do we have the source message here? It's cool, it brought more information. So we want usage count. Usage count, this is an interesting one. Memory category, are there more? No. I put it. Okay. So like related patterns, source messages. Is there like a source message ID? Batch ID, process at, memories at, beliefs, facts, patterns, values, others. That's cool, man. Facts. He analyzed what I said to here is a belief, here is a fact, here is a pattern, and here is a value. So execute step, it will do it like 4 times. Invalid memory category, core belief. So that's the thing, because I don't really care much if the long-term memory, like the core belief here, is memory category, is like one of those or not, right? I'm gonna use this anyway for this. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna save this as long text, so I can just use whatever input I want here, as well as there was one more, no? Importance level. This also, it did brought critical, but I'm like, okay, so it will keep on bringing critical, whatever, right? Let's go back and let's go out. Let's refresh and save. And that's gonna create 4 different memories. Nice. Tech savvy creator, an entrepreneur, productivity as a coping mechanism, creating and providing value. I am not enough. So I just want to make sure that here I can just take like the agent that create short-term to long-term memory. Does he know to check for duplications first? Well, I can even check it with the methodology probably. Check against existing long-term errors. Yeah, you can do it in step 7, Sefy. Okay, save, execute, and boom, we have it. So this is it. Like, this is how you create this. Again, all of the resources, the guide itself, the JSON itself, everything will be in the community, the link in the description below. I hope it was helpful. If you want to learn N8N Vibe coding, if you want to grow your business, this is exactly what we're doing in the Vibe Marketing OS community. And thank you for being here. Until next time, ciao.